I'm Tom.
I'm Peter.
And we're the Wine Guys. And today we have two very special guests.
Yes, we do.
Gary Vaynerchuk, the guru of social media, and Brooks Painter, our director of winemaking.
Yeah.
All right, we have one last wine.
One last wine. This is, I say it, my favorite, Eric. I'm fond of Preston. This is.
It's your favorite.
It's my favorite cab.
You drew a line.
I drew the line in the sand, and you know,
favorite.
Everyone's got their favorites, and this is like a favorite.
Are we running low on this wine, or are we just getting
short pours?
It is. I mean, it is 6 a.m. in the morning. I mean, it's a little early.
I was hoping to take the bottle home, Tom.
That's right. That's probably it.
So, Preston,
I'm sorry to jump back. What was the price point on the Zin?
$30.
Okay.
And then $21 on the Riesling.
And 45 on our Preston.
And this is a wine we've been producing since 1976. And it's about a 25-acre vineyard just down the road in Rutherford, about 3 miles here from the winery. And it's been really just a part of our stable of wines almost since day one.
So for a lot of people out there who are watching this who have been longtime club members and people who stop by here, this is kind of one of the real
Absolutely. And it's something that we were talking about earlier, Gary, about wines that are delicious.
Yeah. I
think this is really what Preston has just been about, and that it's just one of these wines. It's Rutherford Cab. It just has that, for lack of a better word, just delicious flavor and nice dark fruits.
Well, this is Rutherford area. It's famous for Rutherford dust. It does have that mineral, kind of a chalky character to it.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I would almost like dirt dust.
Yeah, I'd call it like a dusty berry. Kind of that's what I would get out of it.
But to me, that's what makes it such a food wine. This just has just enough acidity to cut through a protein. But it's got such great flavor and earthiness.
This is really, really strawberry flavored. I mean, it really attacked my palate with real cut cherry and strawberry. This is more red fruit flavors on my palate. On the nose, it was a little more dark. I agree, but I'm tasting a lot of cherries.
Do you get any plum from that, or just maybe more of a, but not a real ripe plum, maybe? But
yeah. Santa Rosa plum in there. Yeah. I think it is, the cherry, red cherry fruit.
I get cherries for days, like cherry pie. And have you ever had a cherry fruit roll up?
Yeah, sure.
Concentrated. This really tastes like a cherry fruit roll up to me.
Something too that I think maybe we saw from your show on maybe Conan or some of the others that you've done, where you really talk about, because people ask us all the time, well, how do you taste these flavors in this wine? And, are we making this stuff up? And,
right.
And maybe some people are, but, but you force people to eat these foods and, crunch down on them.
Well, when I was 16, 17, I wanted to be the greatest wine master of all, like Yoda. Right? I was like, I'm 16, I've got time, and I was reading, I was very, book knowledgeable about the wine world. I mean, I knew more about Sancerre at 16 than, than is healthy. Yeah. But my parents wouldn't let me drink. And even though I was born in Eastern Europe, I was born there, so we weren't Americanized by that, but they wouldn't let me drink, and so, maybe because all the alcoholic Russians, so, what I said was, I started reading the tasting notes, and I'm like, well, what's mulberry? Well, do I know what cassis is? What's the difference between sour cherry and do I really understand guava? I mean, I've had it once or twice. And so I started saying to myself, and Whole Foods and King's in Short Hills just opened up, or excuse me, was there, but then Whole Foods just opened up, and I would go there, and I would taste Starfruit, and what I would do is I would go to, now the web had come out, this is like 96, 97, and I'd Google, I would Yahoo, things like Starfruit wine, and I would find wines that had Starfruit in them, and then I would just start tasting Starfruit, and the amount of cassis that I ate in 1996 was completely not healthy, and mulberry and gooseberry and different types of plums, and then dirt. I mean, anything that was on a wine tasting note, I put in my mouth except for one thing: cat pee. Yeah. But other than that,
manure maybe. Huh?
Yeah, manure didn't even scare me. Dirt didn't scare me. I would eat grass. I mean, I did crazy things. Barnyard didn't scare me. It didn't. I would go to farms.
Like a saddle, would you?
I'd bite a sheep's ass. And so, but what would happen was I really wanted to get there. And so what happened was when I started tasting wine, 21, 22, 23, I was still intimidated. I'd go to these
Yeah.
big tastings in the city, and,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, Jean Georges and all this stuff. And I wasn't going to open my mouth yet, but I would taste. I'd be like, huh. Why is nobody saying this tastes like a chocolate candy bar? Because
Yeah.
boy, oh boy, this tastes like, you
Yeah,
know,
you're right.
Hershey's. But everybody would use the same terminology.
Mhm.
And I remember, and that's where the genesis of Wine Library TV tasting notes came from. I said to myself, this isn't right. It's pigeonholing, and more importantly, people are really tasting matzo ball soup or grass or whatever it would be, but they don't feel comfortable in saying it. If I ever get to a place where I can liberate the vocabulary of this
Interesting
product,
point.
I'll go there. Not because I want to make it up and make it funny, because there's no way, and I know you guys know, we've tasted, I mean, as tennis players, I had a very unique Uni Blanc that actually smelled like it
When you
opened
open
the can of a tennis
I know that
ball.
smell,
And I'm like, my God, that's what this smells
Never
like.
seen that in tasting notes.
Never. And so what we did was
Fresh tennis
we
ball.
all adopted what
That's
Hugh
funny.
or Lauby or Parker or back to Flanagan or back, you know, Robert, you remember him before
Oh, yeah,
Parker?
yeah, sure.
You know, I mean, I read all this stuff. So we just use the same vocab, and that's fine, but I know people out there have tasted wines, and more importantly, personal tasting notes. Where it really clicked for me was I had a wine, I had a Viognier from the Rhone Valley, right outside the Rhone Valley actually, was declassified Viognier. And it smelled like my friend Robbie Turnick's living room growing up in Edison, New Jersey.
There you go.
I mean, you know how houses have a smell,
Right,
and it was
they do.
like, I hadn't thought about that in 15 years.
Yes.
And I smelled it, and it brought me back. I'm like, this is what wine's
Yeah,
about.
but
And
it's-
so it's a very big passion
but
of mine.
it's amazing that you can catalog all those scents.
I think, I mean, for me, I can, and I think other people
Yeah,
can, and
yeah.
some can't, and I get all that. But
Yeah.
I think it's about, we don't want to make things up.
Yeah.
And I use a lot of the basic terms as well, because
Yeah.
they fall in that standard.
Sure.
But it happens when you have a
Sure.
wine
Yeah.
that tastes like, you know, I mean, there's one wine, it's one of my most negative reviews. I used to go to this fair in New Jersey called the Flemington Fair, and, you know, this wine smelled like the urinals at the Flemington Fair. And the winery was very upset with me when I gave that tasting note, but that's what it smelled like. You know.
Good thing that didn't happen here.
No, very good. There's a lot of you here today. I probably would have kept my mouth shut. I wouldn't have made it out of this cold room.
Hey, we got a deal here today.
Yeah, we do.
Peter, and
Oh, I like that.
and then these are our picks. I mean, you know, we could have picked something that we're trying to get rid of. Obviously, these aren't wines that we're trying to get rid of. There's some of the best wines that we make. We wanted to share them with Gary
Yeah,
this
I know
morning.
Gary.
So we're going to give a deal, and the deal is that
I like this part of
that
the show.
you can buy any one of these three wines, mix or match, in a case of wine,
Yeah, case.
12 bottles. Mix it any way you like. You want to get all
11
that.
and 1.
Yeah, you
There
can
you
do
go.
that.
Any
or
way you
all
wanna do it.
12 and 0?
Yeah,
Yes.
or you can
Okay.
get 12, 12, and 12 too.
Well, now you're really
There
good.
you go.
Yeah, but you can mix it any way you like, and we're going to give a 20%
discount. And we're
And
doing something special too.
that's right, and also
In honor of Gary.
in honor of Gary and his book Crush It, which I really recommend that you buy because we got a lot of these we need to sell.
I should say, I don't want to brag, but but to be very, very exciting news, I don't know if you guys know about this, I just found out yesterday, it made the New York Times bestseller list.
Oh, terrific.
Oh, fantastic.
And the Wall Street Journal bestsellers list.
Yeah,
So it's a big day yesterday,
No,
thank
that's
you.
good. Well, congratulations. No, it's really a good read, and we're selling it for $19.95, but no freight. You
No
buy
freight.
the wine.
We'll put it in the
We'll
case.
put it in the case. So the
Oh,
only
that's
way
awesome.
the only way you get the book
Buy the wine. You gotta
is
read
that
the
you
book.
gotta
Buy the wine.
buy the wine, and then you get the book.
That's
and
cool.
So again, I think you'll like it. And so, Peter, in order to get the special deal on the wine, to
Well,
get the
you
book,
gotta
the
put
free
the,
freight.
you gotta put the special word in, Tom, and the secret word is gonna be crushes.
That's awesome.
And that just happens to be the name of the book.
Oh, coincidentally.
Do I love branding?
Yeah, there you go.
That's
So put crush it into your shopping cart, secret word, and you'll get your 20%. And if you want to order the book, put that in there too.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, if you're watching this video, you're passionate about wine. And to me, if you're living that corporate job that you don't love, the fact that you can do what you love and get paid now because of this new economy is amazing. Like, honestly, the only people I'm envious are the two young guys behind the camera because they're going to live in a world where, no joke, they can do what they want.
That's right.
And that's insane because that was not real for any of us. Everything I believe in this book was not possible.
You know,
3 years ago.
Gary, the four of us here are very blessed because all four of us can honestly say we're doing what
Well,
we
no
really
doubt
love.
about it. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thanks.
Hey,
Real
Gary,
pleasure.
thanks for
Really
coming on the
good.
show.
Thank you.
Thank you
The white
very much.
Riesling is
All right,
amazing.
thanks.
Thank you.
Good. Thanks.